My brother spat the words across the dinner table like they were bullets. Mom and Dad didn't flinch, didn't blink. They just sipped their tea, pretending neutrality wasn't the same thing as betrayal. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I simply reached into my coat, placed the property deed in the center of the table, and slid it forward. "Correction," I said, keeping my voice low, steady. "You all have 24 hours." Forks hovered midair. Mom's glass trembled. My brother's smirk collapsed. None of them knew what I'd done, what I'd put into motion long before this meal. And that was the beauty of it. People assume betrayal happens suddenly. They're wrong. It starts with tone, a glance, a closed door that used to stay open. Growing up, my brother was the golden child. He carried the glow, and I carried the work. I never complained. I believed family balances itself eventually. But families don't balance. They take advantage of whoever stays quiet longest. When Dad got sick, I was the one driving him to every appointment. When the property taxes fell behind, I was the one paying them. When the house started falling apart, guess who rebuilt the broken pieces? Them? They were too busy, too tired, too everything. Still, I stayed silent. I didn't know silence is what they were counting on. It happened on a Tuesday. I walked in early and heard my parents whispering about transferring ownership, about protecting what's left, about not letting him ruin things again. Him? As if I were the threat. As if I hadn't held this family together with my bare hands. Later, I saw the message on my brother's phone. Once he's out, we finalize everything. The lawyer said he won't fight. They thought I didn't have it in me. They thought I'd fold, like always. I didn't confront them that day. I simply nodded, smiled, and let them believe I was still the quiet one. But something inside me shifted. And once it shifted, it never shifted back. Revenge doesn't start with rage. It starts with clarity. I pulled records, all of them. The house they were about to kick me from? I had paid 78% of every renovation, tax, and emergency fix for the past 9 years. I kept every receipt, every bank statement. I visited the same lawyer they thought I didn't know about. Sat across from her with a folder thick enough to choke a shredder. "Legally," she said, flipping through the evidence, "this house is more yours than all 3 of them combined." I didn't smile, didn't gloat. I just said, file whatever gives me full ownership. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. I dug deeper. Mom and Dad had been hiding financial problems. My brother had been funneling money from the family account for his own failed business ventures. None of them could afford to lose the house, which meant taking it would hurt. Perfect. So when my brother tried to kick me out, I knew he was rehearsing a script he thought he controlled. But the script was mine. I tapped the deed with one finger. "Signed yesterday," I said. "Lawyer's copy is already filed. I own the property now." My brother laughed, too loudly. "That's impossible." His voice cracked on the last syllable. Dad reached for the paper, scanning it like shaking hands would make the ink change. Mom finally whispered, What have you done?" "Only what you were planning to do to me," I replied, "but smarter and legally." My brother slammed his fist onto the table. "You think you can just throw us out?" "I'm giving you 24 hours, I said calmly, "which is 23 more than you plan to give me." My brother stood, then sat, then stood again. Anger turned to confusion, confusion to fear. He kept shaking his head like the math wasn't adding up, like the little brother he used to command had suddenly rewritten the entire equation. Dad whispered, "Where will we go?" I shrugged. That's not my problem anymore. For once, silence belonged to me. Resolution and the peace that followed. They packed through the night. I listened to their footsteps, their murmurs, their regret. Not guilt, regret. By morning, the house was mine, truly mine. People say revenge is poisonous. Maybe, but poison can also be medicine, if you know how to dose it. And as I walked through the empty rooms they once ruled, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Weight leaving my chest, air returning to my lungs, a life that finally belonged to me. They thought they could erase me. Instead, I erased them. And I didn't raise my voice once.